jet fighters do we get for that money?
Interest is killing us.
Oh, okay. Let me ask another one. How many submarines, nuclear submarines, do we get for that money? How many people get help, food for pregnant moms? How many do we feed with that money?
Congressman Buck, one of the best ways to think about this, in the budget window we're working on, in functioning about 9 budget years, interest is going to be more than all of defense. And that's already baked into the cake.
All right. We're going to start talking about what we can do about that. I thank my friend from Arizona for joining us tonight and giving us that advice. Folks, you may have heard of Dave Ramsey. He's helped millions of Americans get out of debt, turn the corner on their finances. You may have read one of his books or taken one of his classes. The key to his get out of debt programs, he offers simple steps. These are reasonable measures that anyone can take. The first step he often recommends is to make a list of your current debt and your current spending. The first step is to decide the first step is to decide that you are done being in debt. Our nation's debt stands at, as we just heard, almost $32 trillion. We need a Dave Ramsey program here in Washington, D.C. Turn the second one. The United States debt stands at $32 trillion. Every year, the Government Accountability Office puts together reports on wasteful spending and ineffective programs in the federal government. These reports, if read and applied, would help us streamline government programs, reduce waste, minimize fraudulent payments, create oversight, and greater accountability to taxpayers. As we head into the appropriation season, I'm asking all of my colleagues to join with me and others who have read these roadmaps from the Government Accountability Office with recommendations for how we can reduce federal spending, save taxpayer funds, and most importantly, start paying down the debt. Here are some key findings from the General Accounting Office. In 2022, 18 federal agencies reported an estimated $247 billion in improper payments. Over the past 2 decades, the federal government wasted $2.4 trillion on payment errors. Federal taxpayers pay $2 billion each year maintaining empty government buildings. GAO identified $552.7 billion spent on duplicate and redundant programs in 2022. If our nation is ever going to dig its way out of this debt, we will have to start tackling wasteful spending. That includes going after the improper payments made in error. So what is an improper payment? First, fraud. An individual or business willfully stealing from the government. Secondly, mistaken identity. Payments going to the wrong person. And third, payments going to a deceased person. As just one example, more than 47% of the payments to the Veterans Administration Department particular program in the VA made in 2022 were improper. Let me say that again. More than 47%. That's almost half of the payments in one program. And the good news is that's an improvement, because 5 years ago that number was at 100% of that program's budget. 100% went to the wrong people, and they're down to just 50% now. Maybe in 5 years, if they keep going at this rate, they'll be down to 25%. Maybe not. In 2022, just 18 federal agencies reported wasting an estimated $247 billion on incorrect payments. That's just 18 agencies, not the entire government. Our government also holds thousands of vacant, unused properties. We pay every year from lawn maintenance, electricity, security, energy costs for these unused properties. The Government Accountability Office estimates that we spend $2 billion each year just on maintaining these empty buildings. And another major area of concern is redundant programs. In 2022 alone, the federal government wasted $552.7 billion on duplicate programs. Taxpayers receive no benefit for these redundant programs that create more inefficiencies and run up the cost needlessly. Unauthorized programs are also an additional source of wasted funds. If Congress hasn't authorized a program, why is the executive branch spending taxpayer funds on it? There are over 1,000 unauthorized government programs that Congress continues to fund without reauthorizing or reviewing these programs. And to talk about that more in depth, I invite my friend from Arizona, Congressman Biggs.
I think